welcome to another video today. Yes, I'm starting to read this today, and this whole video is basically going to be a reading vlog of me rereading The Eye of Minds, which is the first book in the Mortality Doctrine series by James Dashner. For those of you who don't know who James Dashner is, have you been living on a rock? But I don't know if this one's as well known as some of the other dystopians that came out around the time, but if you do know who he is, more power to you. So basically, if I can come over here, James Dashner wrote the iconic, one of my favorite dystopians I've ever read, The Maze Runner. He wrote all 5 books in this series. He's also written a handful of other ones, but the only other one I've started to read, haven't completed it yet, is The Mortality Doctrine, which these both have two actually very different feels to them. Yes, I don't have like a sleeve on it, I'm sorry. But yeah, these have both very different they're both dystopian, but two very different feels. This one feels more like end of the world zombie apocalypse type feel to it, while this one has a very futuristic AI is overtaking the world. I kind of compare this one a little bit to Ready Player One. If you've ever read or watched read the book or watched the movie. I watched the movie, I haven't read the book yet, of the Ready Player One, and I feel like they have a similar feel to it. Not exactly the same, but similar. So this book I have already read. I've actually already read, I'm pretty sure the other two are over here. I've already read the first 2 fully in this series, completed the first 2, and then I read, I think, half of the third and final one, and then soft DNF'd it because I just wasn't in a sci-fi technological dystopian mood. So I've decided to come back and reread the first 2 so I can refresh my brain on them, because for some reason I remember the main plot, like the main storyline of what I read, but not a lot of the details are sticking for me, which probably meant that I was probably in a reading slump when I read these, to be completely honest. I was on a long road trip, and these were the only 3 books I brought. So yeah, I was actually kind of on a reading slump when I read these, now that I recall. I don't know what I gave this book as a rating when I first read it, because again, I don't remember much detail about it. I only remember the gist of the plot. I can't even remember the characters' names. I'm pretty sure the main character's name is Michael. It is Michael. I opened up and I saw his name. And basically, a quick rundown on this book. This story follows Michael as he gets recruited to help take down this super dangerous AI that's trying to take over the world, with his 2 best friends, and they're like gamers. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil anything, but that's kind of a very gist of it. And again, it's by the dude who wrote Maze Runner, which the Maze Runner is an incredible trilogy, which 10 out of 10 would recommend that to anyone who really liked the Hunger Games. I would recommend the Maze Runner for that. They are 2 very different dystopias, but they're still both really good. And I would recommend this if you're it's going to be a weird recommendation, but if you're a teenage boy and if you want to recommend books to teenage boys and you have like no idea where to start, I have Minds and The Maze Runner are both pretty good ones because they both follow male main characters. Because another dystopian you could do is like Hunger Games or Divergent. Those follow female main characters, and I don't think a lot of teenage guys want to read about a female main character. I'm just gonna be honest there. So Mortality Doctrine trilogy and the Maze Runner trilogy, or series, because there's technically 5 books in that, 2 prequels and the OG 3 books in that series, I would definitely recommend to a high school boy who wants to get into reading. And if they like kind of technological sci-fi stuff, this one. If they more like not zombies, there aren't zombies in Maze Runner, but if you've read Maze Runner, you know what I'm getting at. There's zombie-like things, and like kind of that desolate end of the world type dystopian. That would definitely be the Maze Runner for you. So yeah, I've talked a lot about the one book series I'm not reading currently. So I hope you guys will enjoy this vlog. If you've never heard of this book, because honestly I had no idea that this book existed until I went to the bookstore and was looking in the area in the genre and the area where this book was, and I saw James Dashner. I was like, oh wait, he wrote Maze Runner. I didn't know he wrote another series. He's actually probably written more than just these 2, but these are the only 2 I actually know about. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So I bought funny story, actually. I bought the third one first because they didn't have I think they had the first two, and I didn't realize that this was actually the third book in the trilogy somehow. So then I had to go back to that bookstore and buy the first and second ones because I bought the third one. I'm like, I can't read this because I have the third book in the series and I need the first one, which is this really cool blue one. I'm holding this the wrong way. I like the kind of shimmery design it's got. So yeah, I will be bringing you guys along as I read this book, as I do in every book vlog. Actually, can you comment down below if you've read this series before, the whole thing, because I haven't. Guilty of not reading the whole thing. And tell me if you liked it or if you didn't. I'm actually really curious about it. And yeah, so let's dive right in. Welcome to one of the clips here. Got a new angle today because I'm experimenting with angles. Ignore my closet. That's open in the corner. So I'm now 30% of the way through the Eye of Minds on chapter 8, page 91. And I'm gonna be honest, because I finally realized my rating for this book as I started rereading it. It's definitely a 3-star book for me. Not saying that that's a bad thing. It's just, for me, 3 stars are kind of average. Like, I enjoyed it. Is it my favorite book? No. Is it really bad? Definitely not. This is a good book. I do think I'm trying to collect my thoughts 1 second. I do think with this book, and just reading James Dashner books in general, I love The Maze Runner more than this series as of right now. Who knows the end, if I actually finish reading the Game of Lives, which is the 3rd book in this trilogy, who knows, this may become my new favorite. But I love The Maze Runner, so I don't think anything's gonna be able to beat that. I mean, there are things that have beaten it. I'm just meaning this one. I don't think it's gonna beat it. Something I've also noticed about going back through and rereading this for the first time is I'm noticing more things now that I know what I know, because obviously I've finished this one. I've finished the Rule of Thoughts, which is the 2nd one, and I read like a third of Game of Lives, which is the 3rd one. So I know a decent amount of, I mean, I know the whole plot of this book and the first 2 books. So like coming back and reading this again, it does I'm noticing some things. And it kind of explains why certain things didn't happen, where like this would have been so much easier if these characters would have just done this. Well, actually they can't because of this future plot point or this twist or this thing. And I've noticed it a lot with the James Dashner books, because again, I have read all 3 of the Maze Runners as well, is he has very intricate plots. In my mind, that's kind of how I interpret it. He has some intricate plots that, like, there's Easter eggs and foreshadowing sprinkled throughout the book that you may not even realize are Easter eggs or sprinkling until like the 3rd book, and then you're like, wait a second, that's referencing this, hold up, type thing, where you're like, oh, I didn't realize the connection, the dots are all connecting and making this really cool map in your head of, oh, so that's why this happened, but you don't find out until later. And yeah, but also reading this knowing the plot twist, because there is a huge plot twist at the end of this book. I don't think that's really spoiling anything, that there's a huge plot twist. You won't know what the plot twist is. There's just a giant plot twist at the end of this book. And going back and reading this, like, knowing what that is, I'm just like, as I'm like, yep. And like, you're like, that's why you can't do this. That's why that's not gonna happen. That's why that did happen. That's why this is going on. That's why this is the plot, because that's what he was building up towards. So you kind of notice that slowly as things kind of progress through the books, is after I've already read 2.5 of them, not even, like how he slowly progresses to the major plot point he has in the book, and noticing that now. So I'm more like analyzing this book than just sitting down enjoying it. I mean, I am enjoying it, but it is more kind of like doing like almost like a book report. You know, when you sit down and you have to read a book for a book report, and you know that, so you go about reading it differently than when you do when you're just reading a book for fun. Is that just me? Comment down below if you read book report books differently than you read books for fun. Because when I read a book report book, I'm not just reading it to enjoy it. Now, I do enjoy it, but I'm also paying attention to the characters and their development throughout the story, how the plot points all link up, and how the characters react to certain situations, and like doing almost like internal character analyses, plot analyses. How do you pluralize analysis? Whatever, and things like that. And so it's an interesting way of reading a book. So if you want to analyze a book, read it like it's a book report book, because that's what I'm doing. And I am enjoying reading this again. I would definitely say that this book series is definitely geared more towards boys, as there is a male main character. Not saying that girls can't read books about male main characters, or guys can't read books about girl main characters. Not a problem at all. It's just sometimes as I was reading this, I'm like, yeah, this definitely feels, it's about a gamer. It feels like my brothers would love this book, which none of them have read. I do want them to read it at one point, because it's a good book. And none of them, I have more than 2. None of them have read it, but it does have that gamer vibe to it of, I mean, it is about a gamer, and they hack into codes, and it's very heavy on that. Not that I do play video games, but I don't hack into video games. I'm not a coder. I don't know any of that. So there's some things in this where I'm like, yeah, this feels like it was written specifically for like a teenage boy. So I would definitely, if you're looking for a series to recommend to your brother or cousin or someone that you like, best friend who's a teenage guy who wants to get into reading, I have mines, and the Mortality Doctrine trilogy. I would definitely recommend it for them. If they're a gamer too, I think they would really enjoy this, because it has a lot of gamer type lingo, I guess. But yeah, so again, reminder of the beginning of this clip. I'm 30% of the way through. I probably won't update you guys again until I'm like 60 or 70% of the way through, just because I don't really think there'll be anything else I want to talk about until that point. This is going to be a short video. I'm just going to, hopefully it'll be a short video. I'm just going to let you know that right away. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next clip. Hey guys, and welcome to the last clip of this video, because I have finished The Eye of Mines, and I actually listened to the last tail end of this on an audiobook that I got from Libby, because I was doing a lot of other things that I couldn't just sit down and read the physical book. So I did this kind of half and half audiobook, half physical book, which was actually really good. I do sometimes would recommend that, like if you're really busy like I've been for the past week and have been doing a bunch of other stuff. I've been writing my book, I've been planning for my next one, I've been doing a lot of school, a lot of other things. So audiobooks are actually quite helpful. I'm not a huge audiobook fan, but I like doing it when it's a book I've already read, because then I don't have to listen as hard. Yeah, so I decided to give this book 3 stars. I think I don't even remember what my original rating for this book was the first time I read it, because I don't think I was doing ratings yet. I wasn't as big of a book reader when I first read this book, so I can't remember what the rating was, and I gave it that. I don't think I gave it 1. So I would give this 3 stars. It's a pretty average book. For me, it's not 100% my style of book I read, but I've been trying to branch out, seeing as this is like kind of sci-fi, gaming, code breaking stuff. I don't really know what to talk about. I've just kind of mentioned most majority of my thoughts earlier on. And kind of going back through and rereading this book again for the first time. This is my first time rereading it. I was kind of on the side of, do I have to continue reading this? Whoop, and lost the book. I do enjoy this book. I do enjoy this at least the first part of the series that I've already read. And I do love James Dashner's writing. It's super interesting, very descriptive, but not at the same time. Like, I I don't really want to read anything because that could end up spoiling some stuff, but just the way he explains how the world works and how the technology works, and just that description, that world building is very clear and understandable. Especially the second time I read it. The first time I was very confused on how this book worked, but after reading it the second time, I'm like, oh wait, no, this makes a lot more sense now. Okay, it's pretty good. Now, the plot twists that happen in this book, because I'd say there's a handful. They're really close to the end. Were, now that I already knew what they were, obviously because I read the book, they were now, like, I could notice the foreshadowing randomly. Or maybe that was my brain playing tricks on me. I can't talk right now. I'm sorry. Playing tricks on me with just being like, oh, that could foreshadow to this that happens in the next book. I'm like, maybe I'm just overthinking things, but there is some actual, like, decent foreshadowing in this book of what happens at the end, and honestly what kind of goes into, they're down here on the other side of me, the next two in this series. So yeah, I would recommend this series to someone who, if you're like a huge video gamer and you want to get into reading, audiobook it. If you'd like, you could listen to an audiobook while you're video gaming. I did that too. I was playing Minecraft and I was listening to the audiobook. That's probably, yeah, we're not going to talk about how possibly nerdy that sounded. But I would definitely recommend this to specifically teen boys, because I do feel like this series and Maze Runner are kind of geared towards guys, in the sense of, like, you know, it has like a male main character and it kind of has that similar Maze Runner humor in it. I do love Maze Runner. This one is, if I had to rate the two James Dashner series I've read, The Eye of Mines, or The Mortality Doctrine, or at least half of The Mortality Doctrine, or all of Maze Runner. Maze Runner would probably win out even after I finish this. I'm going to assume Maze Runner is going to win out on that one, just because I do really enjoy those characters in that story a bit more than I like this one. This is a little bit more outside of my comfort zone than Maze Runner is. So yeah, again, 110 out of 10 would recommend, 100% 10 out of 10 would recommend this to really anyone who wants to kind of dive into sci-fi ish stuff, super technological, futuristic world stuff. Or if you're like me, who I'm genuinely a fantasy reader through and through. That's my genre. I love fantasy. It's my favorite genre to read in. And you want to branch out from that, like I've been trying to, this would probably be a good series to start with. It's simple, easy to understand, not super complicated. And yeah, so yeah, 3 stars. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you got to this point, I applaud you, because I don't know how interesting this video was for some people. And yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya!